Hello and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I am Denise La Rosa, and today I will be sharing with all of you some parenting books that I highly recommend. As a mother and an educator, I find these books to be invaluable resources to support us along this very beautiful and messy journey of parenthood. Let's talk books. I am so excited to chat with you today about a genre of books that I have found to be invaluable resources in my life, and those are parenting books. I am the mother of two daughters, ages 7 and 9, as of the time that I'm recording this video, and I have found that parenting and books just are a perfect combination for someone who is a book lover like myself. I have found myself in quite a few interesting scenarios and situations as a parent, a lot of challenges, a lot of joys, and a lot of questions. And so, what better way to seek answers to those questions than to grab a book? So, I've always been intrigued and fascinated by child development and getting an understanding of what is happening in the minds of our little ones and even up to the teenage years. Like, what is going on? I'm always trying to find answers to those questions, and parenting books have been a great resource for me. And I actually use some of these tools as an educator as well. So they definitely intersect. Years ago, I believe it was 2014, I started mom blogging, podcasting. I actually had a very successful podcast called Mom Talk with Denise La Rosa. It was a top iTunes podcast in the kids and family category. I spoke about podcasting and did a lot of speaking engagements about parenting and podcasting and all of those things for years. It ended up turning out to be something that I wasn't expecting. I started podcasting because I had questions about parenting. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and I kind of took advantage of the fact that I love to talk and started this podcast reaching out to experts like the sleep lady because my daughter was having trouble with having a firm, solid sleep routine. And so it was kind of from a selfish place that I started that. I also found that connecting with other moms who were also experiencing joys and challenges was really beneficial. In fact, speaking of connecting with moms, shout out to Muffy Mendoza, the founder of Pittsburgh Brown Mamas. This shirt is one of several shirts that I have for representing her wonderful resource, her wonderful platform and community that is on Facebook. And she also has a great website, brownmamas.com. All right, so let's dive into these books. The first book that I recommend is Positive Discipline. This is one of those books that I actually gave away to someone. I've been passing them along. In fact, I believe I gave it to a parent of a student of mine because she was experiencing some challenges. And I found this book to be one of those go-to resources that you don't have to read all the way through. You can just grab it off of your shelf when, life happens. Your kid does something and shows up in a way that you're like, what is happening here? Oh my lordy, what am I going to do with this kid? What am I going to do with myself? How am I going to handle this? You can just run to that bookshelf, grab that book. So Jane Nelson is the author of this book, and I actually became a positive discipline coach, and she has so many jewels of wisdom in this book. One of the things that were perhaps the biggest aha moment for me is the fact that discipline isn't a dirty word, and there is such a thing as positive discipline, and also understanding why our children can be a little challenging or unruly or push back a lot, because the way I was raised, it was very much like spare the rod, spoil the child, and kids are to be seen and not heard. And a lot of us growing up just kind of followed along with that without questioning the adults, without challenging the adults. You just kind of sat down, shut your mouth, and, went along to get along. And so what Jane Nelson helps me to see is that our children pushing back and challenging us is a direct reflection on where we are as a society. So it's actually a good thing that a lot of marginalized groups, such as women and Black people, have really fought the systems that have tried to keep them in their place, and children are absorbing all of that. They're absorbing and watching and listening to what the adults around them are doing. And we are doing some good work as far as standing in our truth and standing up for ourselves and standing up for others. And so they're just mirroring what they're seeing. So that was great. And then there's lots of tips on a wide variety, a wide range of challenging issues that will happen. Everything from, children refusing to eat, being picky eaters, to, the age of no, and just saying no to everything, whether they even realize why they're saying no. So this is a book that I highly recommend that you have, like, not even on your bookshelf, people. Like, put this book like at your nightstand, have it close by at all times. Brene Brown, y'all. Do I need to say anything else? Brene Brown is a gem. She is an author, a psychologist, I believe. That's her profession before just being the person that you saw on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I try to remember this is someone who isn't just talking the talk and walking the walk, but is an expert in her field. Brene Brown is amazing. And you will notice that this next book that I recommend, is titled The Gifts of Imperfection. It's one of her most widely known works, one of her most widely known books. It is also not at face value a parenting book. But you guys, this is every bit of a parenting book. When we engage on this journey of parenting, at least I don't know, I can speak for myself and a lot of moms. I can't speak for all moms, but a lot of moms that I am friends with have talked about this pressure to get it right, this pressure to not screw it up, this pressure to, be a good mother, whatever that means, which we could talk about that. Like, what does that mean? And so The Gifts of Imperfection was a book that was transformational in my parenting journey and also my personal journey as a woman in this world. Brene Brown in this book just gives you the freedom to surrender to the pressure to have it together. She helps you to find gifts in the imperfections, find gifts in the mess, to embrace the mess, to expect the mess. Because sometimes what breeds anxiety in parents is that expectation that you have to have it right, that you have to have it all together. And it's never going to happen, you guys, because we're imperfect beings. We're raising imperfect beings. And actually, that's what makes the journey beautiful. It's messy and beautiful. You can have both and experience both and find joy in both the mess and the beauty of parenting. So, this book. In fact, I haven't read this book for several years, and I'm going to have to reread. You can see I have tabs in here. I'm like highlighting stuff everywhere. And this is definitely a book that you need to revisit. It's not meant to be a one-time read. Read this book. If you read no other Brene Brown books, read this book, you guys. It's stellar. You're going to just live so freely. You're going to just embrace the feeling of surrender. It is amazing. So from one Oprah recommendation, one Oprah person to another Oprah person, Dr. Shefali, you guys, gave us an amazing treasure whenever she wrote and published this gem, The Conscious Parent, Transforming Ourselves, Empowering Our Children. So let's just take a moment to take that all in. Transforming ourselves. She speaks so much to how we often parent from the ego. And that's where, anxiety and stress come into play in parenting. Whenever you have in your mind an idea of who your child is going to be or who you want your child to be. And a lot of times that idea is stemming from your own stuff, whether it is your own achievements. Like, for example, I'm a dancer. I was a dancer. I couldn't dance now. Like, let's just be real. But I was a professional dancer. My husband was a professional drummer. We are artists. We have a lot of talents. We are high achievers. And sometimes parents will project all of that onto their children. And that's what Dr. Shefali says is parenting from the ego. your children have every right to be their fullest, most authentic selves. And a good parent, and I don't say that like judging, I say that with love. Good parenting. Let's say it that way. That's better. Good parenting is just creating the conditions for your child to fully be, to just be who they are. That is conscious parenting. Parenting from the ego doesn't serve your children well. It doesn't serve you well. It sets you up for failure. It sets your children up for failure. It sets you up for disappointment in your children. It can create so much conflict with your children. And so Dr. Shefali uses the first portion of this book to kind of tell you what it is, okay? To set you straight and help you clean up your own mess. I personally have been on a journey of self-care and self-awareness and, quite frankly, therapy since being a parent. And I find that when I take care of myself and I really get to know myself and improve upon myself to help me be my best self, that's a lot of self, but stay with me, that just naturally, organically flows into my parenting, and it naturally, organically helps my children to also thrive. It's a great model for them, and it also gets you in the mindset to just love on your children without judgment. And then we have empowering our children. So the next step that Dr. Shefali takes in this book is to help you find a way and find ways, rather, to empower your children to authentically be who they are. And I just love it because one of the things that she said in a Facebook Live years and years ago is, what the heck is wrong with your child just being average or even below average? She was noticing that a lot of her clients, because she still practices as a psychologist, a lot of her clients were feeling like they had to send their children to the best school. Their children had to be the best athletes. So if they chose to play basketball, they had to be the best basketball player. If they chose to play the violin, they had to be the best violinist. And she was like, whoa, like pump the brakes. Why? Why does that have to be? And so she asks some tough questions and really forces you to reflect. This is another book that I have lots of tabs and highlights. Again, all of these books that I'm recommending are really helping you to see that these are tools that you should revisit. These are not one-time reads by any stretch of the imagination. Get this book. You will not regret it. And finally, I have a recommendation for all the moms out there. You have to get this Chicken Soup for the Soul book, which is titled My Amazing Mom, 101 Stories of Love and Appreciation. So this is one of those recommendations I have for your parenting journey that isn't so much about helping you with your interactions with your children as much as it's helping to really soothe your soul, to lift your spirits, to inspire you, to really help you put things in perspective. And I just absolutely love this book. A little plug here. I actually have a story that's featured. So one of my blog posts actually ended up being published in this book as one of the 101 stories of love and appreciation for mothers. And so this was like a wonderful moment for me. By me getting this short story published, it actually was a gift to my own mother because it's about her. It's called Do As I Do. And I believe it is on page, not that you have to know this, like this is kind of silly that I'm even saying this, but it's on page 62. It is titled Do As I Do. It is story number 17 in this Chicken Soup for the Soul book. What an honor, because Chicken Soup for the Soul is a series that I've been reading ever since high school. I absolutely love it. My first Chicken Soup for the Soul book was a gift from my godmother. It was Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. This book series, Chicken Soup for the Soul, has a very special place in my heart. This is also not only a great gift for yourself as a mom, it's a great gift for other mothers. So, it's a gift that you could give to your mom friends. Yes, Mother's Day would be ideal when you think about that, but also for a birthday or just to say, I love you. You're doing it. And, I celebrate you. So I highly recommend that not only you gift this book to yourself, but that you grab an extra copy and gift it to another mom, another amazing mom, because we are all amazing. So that is it, y'all. Those are my, suggested reads, my highly recommended reads for all of you parents out there. And guess what? I just want to leave you with this. You're doing it. You are doing the work, the most important work any human being on the planet can do. You are parenting your children and you're doing it to the best of your ability. And don't forget, your best today may look very different than what your best looked like the day before. It may look different than what your best will look like tomorrow. And that is okay. Just bring your full self to this journey and know that you're not alone on the journey. If you need links to all of these books, I have them in my description. And until next time, happy reading, happy parenting, and just know, I love you all, you amazing parents.